Cool. Well, we'll kick this off. So welcome to our second SmartTake webinar event with Klaviyo. And we'll be running these every single month, and we'll be diving into new features, strategies, enhancements being rolled out by Klaviyo, or we might even be tying in cultural events, as for example, or holidays, Black Friday. Anything relevant in the e-com space, we'll be making sure to cover strategies and Klaviyo's positioning with those throughout the year. My name is Ryan O'Connor, and I'm the director of marketing here at SmartBug Media. And my responsibility is to know all the latest trends, strategies in the e-commerce space, and to share that with our audience, with our clients. And in a past life, I used to run a successful e-commerce brand, and I also owned an email and SMS agency. Let's jump into this. So let's meet our speakers. I've already given a quick introduction for myself. I'm Director of Marketing at SmartBug Media. We're a full service email agency, email SMS agency, helping clients with paid media, SEO. We're also a Klaviyo Master Elite partner, and we help our clients make use of all their data within Klaviyo to drive more revenue and engagement from their audience. And then on the webinar with us, we also have Alen and Anthony. And Alen, I'll let you give a quick intro of yourself, and then Anthony, we'd love to hear more about you as well right after.
Thank you, Ryan, for introduction. So my name is Alen. I'm SmartBug's e-commerce senior designer, email developer, and also technical and strategical support. I kind of specialized in next level problem solving and pushing the limits within the creative and client services department. I employed user-first approach that I refined after more than a decade of e-commerce work. I kind of being a part of executing more than 1 million emails and more than thousands of clients using Klaviyo as a platform that gave me a broad understanding of e-commerce marketing and technology capabilities. So thank you for having me. I'm looking forward for discussion.
That's quite the record. I didn't know you've been involved in over 1 million emails, Alen. I love that stat. And Anthony is also with us, Senior Marketing Manager at Klaviyo. Anthony, could you give us a quick intro for yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for having me, Ryan, Alen, Cody, and the rest of the SmartBug team. Super happy to be here. You're a great partner of ours. For everyone who I haven't met, my name is Anthony. I'm on a product marketing team at Klaviyo. I lead all of our things related to our data infrastructure. So working really closely with our integrations and so many great technologies across different tech stacks. So super excited to talk through kind of how to leverage our data infrastructure most effectively and how we've seen some upcoming features that will impact our customer base.
Awesome. Very happy to have you, Anthony. Okay, so let's jump into our first question. So what is the power of Klaviyo's data infrastructure, and how do we leverage it to grow e-commerce brands and businesses? Anthony, would you like to kick us off?
Absolutely. Yeah, so Klaviyo's data infrastructure is really, really differentiated, super unique, especially compared to other email marketing platforms, SMS marketing platforms, but also against other data platforms when we think of things like CDPs. And it's really for 5 key reasons. First, that we store unaggregated event data at the profile level and retain it in that raw form for really long periods of time. So what that means is that you can access really granular data about your customers, so their behaviors, both in real time and their historical behaviors, because we allow you to pull in all of your customer data. And then you can use those things, their behaviors, predictive behaviors, how they're interacting with different tools across your tech stack for things like hyper-personalized segments and personalizing and marketing automation, so email and SMS, or push notifications with unlimited segmentation flexibility. So anyone who uses Klaviyo knows our segmentation builder is super easy to use, but you can keep getting super granular. There's unlimited number of and statements. So you can make depending how many purchases someone's made, the behaviors that they've taken on your review site, the interactions they've had with your customer service platform like Gorgeous or Zendesk. You can use all of that data to effectively create really personalized cohorts of your customers and then message to those cohorts really effectively to be able to really impact your conversion. And so all of this really combined allows you to create different personalized campaigns and automations that really will resonate most of your audience and increase your customer lifetime value.
I love that. And Anthony, I've been working with Klaviyo for about 8 years, and I still am learning some of the new, not even the new features, the robustness of the capabilities of Klaviyo and what we can do with data. One question I do get when speaking with clients or brand, marketers is why use Klaviyo as your data infrastructure rather than your e-commerce platform like Shopify or Magento? Doesn't that have all the data in it already? So why Klaviyo?
Yeah, it's a great question. And while your e-commerce platform is absolutely pivotal to collect things like your transactional data and different behaviors people are taking to your e-com store specifically, the great thing about Klaviyo is that we have over 300 pre-built integrations and open APIs, which we'll talk about, allowing you to pull all of your data together and unify it under a single customer profile, really serving as the single source of customer truth, and then allowing you to activate that data right within the same platform, whether it be for omni-channel marketing or data analysis on your marketing. You can do that all within Klaviyo. So we really want to shorten the distance between data, insight, and action all in the same place. So while your e-com platform is really the great foundation for that transactional data, it's really effective that it feeds right into Klaviyo alongside of the rest of your tech stack to really get the full breadth of it.
I almost see Klaviyo as like a communication platform, the closest community you can have with your customers. If you think of like social media can be a community, private groups can be a community, but really like email and SMS is one of the places where you don't have as much noise as social media, and where you can really use all that data to have a more personal relationship. I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah, Ryan, I love that.
Alan, what do you think?
Yeah, I just want to echo what Anthony said, and let's say in practice, what I have learned over the past is essentially you can get such a great deal of data and understanding of behavior for a specific customer audience that is far greater than any market research. So it is great that Klaviyo kind of unifies all the data that gets into their CDP and kind of is used across the board. Discoveries are really applicable to any email, not just email, but let's say to any marketing strategy using any platform. So yeah, that is my 2 cents.
Love it. Well, that kind of goes into our next question here. Talking about the capabilities and the technology side can often bring up the question, well, okay, that makes sense, but what are some great examples, some use cases applying, where brands are using this rich data to create a better experience for their customers?
Yeah, Ryan, I'm super excited to walk you through a case study of ours from one of our really hot brands right now who's doing some awesome stuff on Klaviyo. So alongside of our other 150,000 customers, Graza is really crushing it in regards to building sustainable growth by leveraging their first-party data. So just a little background on Graza. They're a US-based company selling high-quality and affordable olive oil. I'm sure many of you have seen their social ads. They have a really awesome influencer presence, which really was before Klaviyo last year, their main source of growth. But then they added their email marketing in early 2022, starting with around 2,000 contacts that they built this wait list through Facebook and Instagram. And then just within a year, they grew their customer base to over 60,000 contacts. So almost 6,000% growth, with now over 30% of their revenue coming from email and SMS marketing like Klaviyo. And then they've really used Klaviyo in a bunch of different unique ways, primarily given that they've integrated their entire tech stack. So they're a Shopify brand, but they use Facebook ads, Typeform, Gorgeous for their customer service, Loyalty Lion for loyalty, Nosto for website personalization, Recharge for subscriptions, Triple Whale for analytics, Bazaar Voice for reviews as well, and then Smarter for subscription renewals. So really getting this full breadth of their tech stack by unifying it all into Klaviyo and then using those pieces of data in different key use cases that are listed here. So they both look at conversion flows as well as nurture flows, so providing things like every other day they provide different recipe campaigns that are automated all within Klaviyo. They have a replenishment flow based on a trigger due for when their subscription is due to reorder, which is based on their Smarter integration. So you can see here on the right, their subscription renewal flow. When your subscription is due to renew, you can manage that subscription, edit it, even gift it to another user. And that's triggered automatically within Klaviyo, really providing this sustainable flywheel that you really don't have to worry about having to hit send on each singular campaign. So they've used Klaviyo in really unique and awesome ways to really micro segment their campaigns based on engagement and just provide a really end-to-end full lifecycle experience that has allowed them to really achieve some awesome numbers.
I love that with the subscription management, the trigger. I think traditionally with subscriptions, that's like churn is a big challenge, right? The more if your churn's high, that it's a problem to solve. And I think with churn, a lot of customers, might want to pause or might not need the subscription that month or want to switch out the products. So having that data available and then the ability to manage it for customers helps prevent churn. I've also seen like with Gorgeous, since Graza is using Gorgeous, I've seen other types of flows where maybe a customer had a good or bad customer support experience based on their rating. And I've seen where we might send a different email based on that customer support experience, or maybe they have a great customer support experience and wrote a good review. We might treat those people differently, right? And thank them. So their journey feels more personalized. And that's just a simple piece of data, right? But that's all within Klaviyo, and that's all data we can use in our communication to really stand out amongst other brands.
Absolutely, Ryan. Yeah, it's a great call out. And that's one of the really powerful things about Klaviyo is you have all of these data points that are super granular, and you have access to all of them without having to run custom queries or a bunch of SQL just to be able to run a campaign or pull a list of customers that have acted in a certain way.
Yeah, it is very easy.
Love it. So
go ahead, Alen.
Yeah, I'm going to introduce a practical example that we kind of executed for her clean meal prep. So the real challenge here was how to approach to specific replenishment flow, and what is the, let's say, specific delay for the automation or sequence of emails that we want to introduce to them. The problem was, like, obviously this specific account is selling a meal preps, and there is no expiration, let's say, date. Probably there is, but there is a hard way to tell when a customer use this product and when they need to kind of replenish it. So the way we kind of approach to this is using one of the Klaviyo solutions is average time between orders. What we have been capable to do is set up a different flow branches and address different flow delays to trigger those emails and send the right content to the right customer at the right time. So this is something that I really love, and it is highly applicable to almost any replenishment flow, and most definitely it bumps the numbers up. Just for as an example, so it brought up 25% of total revenue when it comes to Klaviyo. It higher up the frequency of the purchase. It lowered down the spam, compliance, and bounce rates. And as we can see, there is also a number of attributed flow revenue.
And was this, Alen, is this one of the higher performing flows for this brand?
This is a
replenishment?
top, yeah, exactly. This is a top performing flow for this account.
Yeah, I think we tend to have see that a lot with consumables or anything where there's a high frequency of purchase, and maybe the customers aren't on a subscription, where this replenishment flow tends to be one of the higher performing flows, just because it's with the data within Klaviyo, you know when the frequent, the purchase cycle, the repurchase cycle, you can see the average repurchase cycle, and then send an email based on that data right at the right time with the right content when we know historically someone is going to purchase. It's really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Brian. I love the point here about sending the right content at the right time. I feel like that's such a hot phrase today in marketing, but it's so valuable. Like really being able to do that effectively and perhaps even automatically is just so critical to driving conversions. I mean, I think we all know as consumers, the likelihood that I'm going to buy in that window is so short for so many different products. And so I think the ability to do that and how you showed here, especially for meal prep, is just so pivotal to so many different business models.
And doing it right too, like is so important, because you can have all this data, you can have all this set up within Klaviyo, but it could be sent or set up incorrectly. Like for example, like off the top of my head, there's a brand I love. It's called Faherty brand. Sorry if anyone from Faherty is watching this, I'm calling you out. But I always buy their summer clothing and all their linen wear. I like it very much. It's not high-end market. It's kind of in the middle. It's fun. I can use it for the season. It's a little bit not a little bit better than fast fashion, I would say. But they start in the winter, they send me all these emails for clothes like, Ryan, buy this again, or you're gonna really love this collection. And I've never bought it. And I've spent thousands of dollars with them on their summer clothing. And every winter I still get it's actually gotten better. But a couple years ago, I was kind of displeased with the emails they sent because it was not relevant to my history with them at all.
Yeah,
which is kind of a turn off. Yeah.
That's a really, really good point. And yeah, doing it right it's challenging, that's for sure.
Cool. Well, let's jump into our next question. So how do you get or how do I get my data into Klaviyo? How hard is this?
Yeah, it's a great question. And what's great is that it's really seamless. That's the one thing at Klaviyo we always strive to do, is to make all of our tooling really intuitive, because we don't want to restrict customers from ever getting all of their data into Klaviyo. Klaviyo is only as powerful as the data that's in it. So we want you to bring as much of it as possible. So we have a few different ways to do so. First is our pre-built integrations. So one of the really differentiating things about us against email platforms, CDPs, and other database technologies is the number of integrations that we have that are native to our platform that really can be set up in a few clicks. So we have over 300 with different e-com platforms, tools across your tech stack. So customer service, reviews, loyalty, returns, shipping and logistics, on-site personalization, and so many more that allow you to seamlessly pull in all of your data without the need for custom integrations. And if we don't have that integration built, what's really great about Klaviyo is that we have really open and flexible APIs that we just enhanced last year, adding a bunch of new endpoints and updating existing endpoints to make them really flexible and extensible. So we have really, really strong developer documentation, and most of the developers who are using Klaviyo to build custom integrations find the APIs to be really usable, which is why we have developers and other tech companies building integrations within Klaviyo quarter over quarter and month over month, is because our APIs are really usable. We also, for any on-site tracking, you can add a little piece of Java snippet to your website to track every single behavior on any single page across your website, which flows right into Klaviyo automatically. And then for any systems that require you to export, say, a CSV file of your customer data, like some old ERPs or legacy systems, we did just release into limited availability our ability to do a CSV file in bulk and really ingest flat files via SFTP in an automated way. So our large enterprise brands can do that and get all of their data into Klaviyo without needing to import and export constantly to get that data in.
It is very easy. I think I've seen probably over 1,000 brands, or maybe 500 to 1,000, come over to Klaviyo over the last 8 years that I've directly seen. It is so easy. I think where the challenge is, after the data is in Klaviyo, is how to make use of that, how to organize that, right? And I know, I know, Alan, something that you've helped so many of our clients with is actually, once the data is in, how to use it.
Exactly. So the way we think about also like marketing strategy and when you start working with account, you need to think about the architecture of the usability and how the data should be available and used across several email campaigns, reports, so on and so forth. So the really key feature that I allow is kind of profile property enrichment flows, where you can really bake in a specific profile property for a customer. And later during that stage, again, you can use it, like using also update profile property in specific CTAs, using Klaviyo sign-up forms which could be triggered with CTA. And let's say consent, the preferences pages as well. So
what's an example, Alan, of using a profile like enrichment property in a CTA? Sorry to put you on the spot if you don't have one off the top of your head.
Yeah, that's a great question. So let's say we want to create a customer base where we want to learn what is the interest of a customer. Let's say they placed an order within the specific collection that and they, let's say, repeat that purchase over time, where we can use this specific flow enrichment that we could add those collections as a list and bake them into the specific customer profile. Then we can later during the stage target them with an automation or let's say specific campaign that really relates to a customer behavior and their interests.
I love that. That's awesome. Well, gentlemen, we only have 3 minutes left for the last question, so I want to jump into this, and maybe we might have about 5 minutes, but let's jump straight in. So what features are coming to Klaviyo that will help brands evolve their marketing journey?
Yeah, so super excited to walk through a few different features that we're releasing over the next few months that will really provide customers just more ways to segment their data, learn from their data, and just more efficiently use Klaviyo and reach new audiences. So the first is our Android SDK and the ability to send push notifications to Android users. It's a massive update for us, whereas right now in Klaviyo natively, we only support iOS push notifications, and we only have an iOS SDK. So now brands can ingest data from their Android apps and then be able to push out push notifications effectively to Android users, which we know globally are the biggest OS system that we can support. So super excited about that. We're also releasing our campaign calendar views, which allows brands to look at a calendar view for all of their SMS and email campaigns so they can effectively manage and slot things in rather than having to view a list view. That's been highly requested across all of our partners and customers for years.
I'm sure for a long time.
Yeah, Ryan, I'm sure it's going to be it's a really awesome resource for our partners who are already managing so many campaigns across so many different brands. So we're really excited about that. In our segment growth report, another really highly requested feature over the last few years, which allows brands and partners to look at how segments are growing or depleting over time and be able to identify trends from those segments and understand why certain segments and cohorts of customers are performing in relation to others. So really just allowing for that enhanced audience-based reporting. And then transactional SMS, a huge SMS feature. So for all of our Shopify brands, there'll be actually at checkout an ability to subscribe to transactional SMS rather than having to subscribe to both marketing and transactional messages, which often can be a deterrent for users who quite aren't ready to subscribe to marketing SMS yet. But it will allow you to collect their information and be able to have them in your customer database more effectively. So we're super excited about these 4 features, but our product team is constantly working on additional ways to just make Klaviyo easier to use and more impactful for our brands.
Perfect. Well, Alen, is there anything you wanted to comment on new features?
Just wanted to compliment, like, I really love that Klaviyo is listening to partners and also the audience, or let's say customers. I do really see this as applicable and really useful for us. So it is really great. For me, like, the one that pops out is transactional SMS when it comes to managing those notifications, and which is backed up again with the Klaviyo research that customers are really fond to receive those. And let's say we can kind of get an easiness getting them opted in for those. Again, for us, I really love seeing segment growth report and campaign calendar view. So a lot of great features.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. Well, let's jump in since we're a little over 30 minutes in. So a quick reminder before we go into all the questions you all had, we will send this recording out in case you want to share it with any of your colleagues or anyone in your company. Also, we will send a guide that we put together, a premium guide, like I mentioned earlier, how to use, we have different use cases of how to use data from technology tools like review tools, subscription tools, and how to use that data in specific use cases to drive customer retention and repeat customers. So we will send that out in the next day or two. So let's jump into audience questions. Okay, so we have from Rachel, is there ever a time where you try to segment out a separate group of buyers who will buy wholesale or bulk to see if the volume ordered has a different average reorder rate than the average smaller volume buyers? It's like a B2B use case.
Yeah, so sorry, I'm just reading the question, Rachel. This is a great question. So yeah, I think it's a really good opportunity to segment. Within Klaviyo, it would depend how you're integrating your wholesale orders, independent versus direct to consumer. So Ryan or Alen, if this is something you've had experience with, if not, Rachel, I'm happy to chat with our team and get some clarity here. But I think aggregately, definitely something that you'd want to segment out to understand different reorder rates and compared to perhaps orders who are coming in more frequently and not just singular times in bulk.
Yeah, I think what you could do, Rachel, is, so if you have wholesale orders, and it sounds like there's a range of values of wholesale orders, maybe a smaller size and a larger size, you could segment that out. You could even run a report. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Anthony. You could run a report, or Alen, with those two segments, the smaller order and the bulk order, and see how frequently those purchases are made. Maybe it's once a month for the wholesale and twice a month for the smaller. But you could run a report, and then you could, of course, then send out content email flows to those different segments based on when they're likely to reorder.
Just wanted to add, so what we have done also so far, it is kind of easy to identify if you are dealing with a consumer or, let's say, business, with just using a profile property which states an organization. So obviously business owner kind of, if they order a bulk or a wholesale, they will most definitely submit their information about the company. So this is the way you kind of get those different segments or report. And just to kind of complement what Ryan said, moving from there, you could get a different average reorder rate.
Awesome. Hope that helps, Rachel. Brooke asks, where does Klaviyo see the implementation of AI technology?
Such a great question. And really happy we answered this because it's something that we're continuously talking about at Klaviyo. We have a data science team now of over 60 data scientists across product and engineering. And we're continuing to scale that team, really continuing to invest in AI and machine learning across the platform. And it's something that we know as we're building our roadmap is seeing, okay, in every piece of the product, how can we more effectively leverage AI and machine learning to really provide recommendations to customers based on all of the data that's in Klaviyo. So a couple of areas where we've done this recently and that we're continuously doing so is our SMS assistant and email subject line generators in both campaigns and flows. So SMS assistant, you can completely populate an SMS campaign by just entering a few keywords. So we just released actually a blog article about this morning about how we're leveraging OpenAI's GPT-3 technology to use our SMS assistant. So all of the copy that we're generating is approved for deliverability and compliance and giving customers a few different options based on the data that performed most effectively in previous campaigns and flows. We do have all of our predictive analytics as well. So things like predicted churn risk, predicted future lifetime value, next order date. So all of this is constantly updating based on all of the real-time data that's in Klaviyo, allowing brands to really trust these predictive analytics and then leverage them effectively in segmentation and in personalization. We also use our personalized benchmarks, allowing brands to look at their performance across 100,000 other Klaviyo brands that are similar to them, completely anonymized. So there's a few different avenues before I talk too much about that we're really leveraging AI machine learning and are going to continue to do so in hopes to constantly provide these recommendations so that brands don't have to always pull their data to then run these models outside of Klaviyo. We should be able to do that all within.
Awesome. All right, let's go to our next question here. What advice would you have for a job-seeking marketing professional who does not have any experience using Klaviyo or a marketing automation software? How can one get MAP's experience when experience itself is often a prerequisite on job requirements?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. And I think a few resources, and I'd love Ryan and Alan's thoughts on this too. A few resources on the Klaviyo side is that we have different Klaviyo certifications in our academy. So you can get actually Klaviyo certified for both email, SMS, for analytics, and then post those to your LinkedIn profile as badges and certifications, allowing you to have these credentials when you're going into a job application or an interview, and being able to get yourself really familiar with the Klaviyo platform. Our academy team invests tons of time and resources into these certifications, and we're constantly updating them for things like deliverability and just anything that's really new in the space. So it's definitely worth checking out to get yourself up to speed on Klaviyo. I know when I started a couple of years back, it was really helpful in getting myself familiar with the product. So I highly encourage you to check it out.
Yeah, the Academy has developed a lot over the years. When I first used Klaviyo like 6-7 years ago, something like that, you could probably buy a Shopify instance for I think $20. Klaviyo is free. A lot of these marketing technologies that integrate with Klaviyo and Shopify are free initially. It's not free for everyone. Don't quote me on that. It's free initially up to a certain amount of contacts. But once you have, if you have the $20-$50 a month, you might use it for a month, and you can actually build out a real store. You could build out real email flows, campaigns. There's ways to do print on demand drop shipping, so you can actually pull in real products without having inventory. So playing around, maybe you even get a couple sales, like send it to your friends, send it to your family. But it is a great way, and that's actually how I first learned Klaviyo and built my own brand. I found success. I got lucky. I built all this out and started to advertise, and some of the products that I was advertising went off. So, but it is a great way, and using the Klaviyo Academy helped a lot too. although it's a different beast now. It's much more helpful than it was when I started.
Also, just Klaviyo community there is a lot of things that you could learn and also position yourself as an expert. So the more you know, and the more you kind of get familiar yourself with the tool itself. Again, community is here to help. You can help others and kind of build the reputation up.
All right, next question here. I have a large tech stack that would need to integrate into Klaviyo. Are there any new ones coming?
Yeah, it's a great question. So super excited. We have a few new integrations coming in the near future. It's really around a couple platform integrations. So Square Online and Commerce Tools, two really big e-commerce platforms. Of course, Commerce Tools getting a lot of headway given its headless technology. So we're super excited to have integrations into those soon, opening up new markets of merchants. We're going to be building out our Klaviyo integration as well. So being able to use your first party data more effectively across the Klaviyo ad network. And then our Bazaar Voice integration using UGC within personalization. We're super excited to have that more seamlessly integrated into Klaviyo, which is coming really soon.
Awesome.
But I actually, one additional piece to note is that if you are interested in checking out any of our integrations, if you go to connect.klaviyo.com/integrations, you can see our full list of over 300 integrations, the key use cases for each of those integrations, and then how to enable them. So highly recommend checking that out.
A great resource. All right, so last question. I love this one. Can I use first-party data in Klaviyo for targeted ads?
Yeah, it's a great question. And the answer, absolutely yes. So we have Facebook and Google Ads integrations natively within the platform, allowing you to use all of your data in Klaviyo, so all the data that's across your tech stack, and create really hyper-personalized segments and then dynamically push those to Facebook or Google Ads to be able to target more effectively on Facebook and Instagram, and then across the entire Google network. So display, search, YouTube, shopping, and more, to really be able to do key things like creating exclusionary audiences to improve your ROAS, creating lookalike audiences, retargeting existing audiences, really with the goal of creating more personalized advertisements to have a really strong impact on ROAS and just overall your ROI from your advertising platforms.
Very cool. Well, that's all of our questions. I'm going to give everyone 30 seconds. Any more questions, or Alan, Anthony, any final closing thoughts or suggestions for our audience? Doesn't sound like it. So, well, thank you everyone so much for attending our second SmartTake webinar with Klaviyo. Please follow us and Klaviyo on socials and stay in contact via email. And then keep an eye out for the follow-up email. We'll be sending out that guide that I've mentioned, as well as this recording. And yeah, hopefully see you on the next one. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Alan and Anthony, for joining us today and sharing your knowledge and expertise. It's been a pleasure chatting with you both.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. And thanks everyone for having me. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.